Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Endless Space 2. So mostly people seem to think that we should not bother trying to make friends with the pirates, we should just obliterate them and take Botha by force, and I'm happy to hear that because that is definitely where I was leaning as well on that one. We have other things that we could be using our dust on. For example, before we get going anywhere here, let's talk about math a little bit. We have a colony ship in the air, another colony ship coming. Obviously, it would be great for us if we could get geodonics development installed on both of these colonies immediately. So what does our geodonics supply look like? We are on 10 plus 4 per turn. So we'll have to, if we want to install a development on the colony ship that's already in the air, we're going to have to buy some, just a little bit. And then we're probably going to have to buy almost the entire development cost for the other one. So is that a thing we can actually do? Okay, there's a lot of geodonics on the market, that's good for us, and it costs 23 dust, or wow. The dust conversion is just, it's 1-to-1, dust to influence. This is a terrible deal. We should never pay influence for something from the market. Here's what makes me think that. It's way easier for us to produce a point of dust than a point of influence. We have fewer things drawing on our influence supply. Obviously, we're always going to need dust because we can't pay our troops in influence. Building upkeep is a dust cost, and it's going to get significant, right? We're already seeing even our basic buildings. Well, that's not a good example, because dust-producing buildings obviously have no upkeep. But right, this is 8 dust per turn. When we start getting more expensive, or fancier stuff, it'll be even more. We can see here, we're at 26 dust per turn, and this thing only has a couple of improvements on it. So we're always going to need dust. Oh, We're always going to need dust, and there are things we can't do with dust that we can only do with influence that we would like to save our influence for, like rushing tech, since our science is probably not going to be fantastic over the course of the game. So any place where we have the option of spending both dust and influence, but we're not getting a really, really good price, we want to spend it. We want to spend dust on it. So the good news is this is more than enough quantity to cover our needs, and also it's cheap enough that we should be able to get what we need. I'm going to wait and buy it when we actually need it, though, so that I don't accidentally overbuy. Because I'm not sure exactly how many turns it's going to take for this colony ship to fly to Dill. Or even if Dill's where we're going. Where's our probe? I guess our probe ship won't know what's down this lane until after that ship could settle Dill. Okay, yeah, so we're on a path here. I still don't know what victory condition we're aiming for. We'll find out what looks feasible once we sort of get our base under us. Also, we're now getting access to better ship designs, so we're going to want to go after these pirates sooner rather than later. Obviously, the earlier we can do it, the better, because they're just getting more powerful over time. Also, if they destroy even one of my logistics cargo fleets, I'm going to be outraged. Oh hey, there's Ambler. Down here, okay. What's their deal? They are temperate, they'll provide us more dust than other factions. Wow. That's a pretty good faction trait. It would be really cool if we could assimilate these guys. This is another thing that I would rather do with dust if we could, but we'll spend influence on it, it's fine. Really get those resources flying in. So you'll notice that we are getting +7 per turn with these guys. We're getting 6 per turn from having done 3 praises, and another +1. I'm not actually sure how this works. Sometimes when you introduce yourself to a minor faction, you get +1 influence per turn with them, or +1 approval rather, just passively for nothing, seemingly. I'm not sure if it's like a bonus for the first player that meets them, maybe. Sort of comparable to Civilization 6's free envoy, or what it is that causes it. Maybe it's just certain factions, maybe it's, you know, a thing of temperate governments. So if you do know what is causing that, please, I would love to know that in the comments below. By the way, I do want to say, this episode is coming out quite a bit later than I had intended for it to. It got pretty late while I was getting ready to record last time due to recording other stuff, and I honestly, like, this is the series of the stuff I have running right now. This is the series where I'm, like, most afraid of making mistakes, and maybe afraid's not the best word, but I'm the most worried about doing something dumb and then sort of parading it out in front of everybody. And if you're watching all of my stuff, well, first of all, thank you. Secondly, that's crazy. Put out a fair amount of stuff. But you'll be familiar with me doing stupid stuff because I'm not paying attention or I'm recording while I'm too tired or whatever. But I really want to do a good job here, if nowhere else. I'm not sure why this feels more important to me. Okay, so we've got our new ship hulls. I think I do want to finish the analytical engine before we produce any ships. So in a couple of turns, we'll do ship designing and stuff. Are you okay? You're going to Cran. Cran's more important, right? I shouldn't run this guy to Dill. No, there's that. Yeah, let's get the colony on Cran running as quickly as we can. Oh yeah, also let's get some tech going, I suppose. So we have access to the next tier. We could just move right up to making bigger ships. The medium-class ships are where things really start to get powerful. Our oversettle limit is 8. We are not approaching it. So I'm not too worried about picking up xenoanthropology or anything. We probably should grab... I was gonna say we probably should grab some science stuff. And that's probably true. At the very least, we should get, like, baryonic shielding and eukaryotic sap, both of which are great techs. Baryonic shielding will show us a little bit more... curiosity stuff, and it unlocks the ability to move off of the space lanes, which is obviously very valuable. And then eukaryotic sap, in addition to giving us a planetary colonization thing, just gives you +5 approval for each planet you have in your empire. You don't have to pay anything for it, it's not a system improvement, it's just a passive effect, just get more happiness. It's a pretty good thing for us to convert science into, because we have some other stuff to do with our production in the meantime. There's a lot of value in technologies that give you bonuses that don't require you to spend industry on them. Obviously, system improvements are great, but you can't always be building stuff. Sometimes sometimes all of the factories are busy. Now let's lay down. We want to get a hold of these arid and desert worlds fairly quickly, though. Alright, and we do have the resources now to... accelerate the colony building process, which we will be doing, because I want to get this stuff online as quickly as possible. Yeah, double the food output of the system. Bring our colony settling time down to 8 turns. I kind of forgot about the whole outpost to colonies. I've been playing so much Vaulters lately that I forgot. It's actually going to be a considerable amount of time before we can put up our system developments, so we might not have to buy any Jadonics. Alright, does TRAPPIST-1 have important things to do? It does. So, planets with luxury deposits. In this system, every planet has luxury deposits. So, we will get 4 dust per population from building this, and population's increasing quickly, and we're sending population over on ships. This is a lot of extra dust output. I do like 15 science, though. Let's build the science thing. Build this. We probably will want this as well. I'm wondering if we should maybe delay, though, building anything else after the xenotourism agencies to make ships. Obviously, we will need ships. I do want to get our dust flowing a little bit better. In particular, once we have ships, we're going to want to be using dust to heal them and stuff. That's another thing we unfortunately cannot use influence for. And retrofitting costs dust. It's something you have to do frequently in this game, way more than you have to upgrade units in other 4Xs. Alright, so we're going to start making ships this turn. Man, we need colonization tech. We need so much colonization tech. Seems like a good world, though. Food and industry, more Jadonics, more Hyperium. We've been very lucky so far with how good the systems available to us are. We just have to do a better job of actually taking advantage of them is all. But look at that. That thing that we built is actually producing a lot of dust. Oh, see, it's a shame. It's not showing me what the actual dust output of it is. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'm sure there's a like a detailed view that would allow that. Xenotourism agencies is not great in this system, at least not right now. So let's get to building ships. Let's see what our initial options are. Actually, before we do that, let's see. Do I have a pirate ship visible? Let's see what they're configured for. These pirate ships have energy defenses, projectile and energy weapons. They prefer to fight at medium or short range. All information that will be useful for building our counterattackers. So yeah, we'll start with this. So our Corvette-class ships are currently equipped with energy weapons. Let's not do that. We have these. We have access to these really cool kinetic weapon designs that we discovered, and I think we should lean in heavily on that, at least for now. At the moment, this weapon is very powerful relative to the sort of galactic tech level. We should take advantage of that as much as we can. And then we'll split our defenses. One piece of shielding and one piece of plating. I think this is a reasonable design. Basic engines. And for our Protector class ships. So in general, ships have two sort of roles. There are attack ships, direct attack ships, and support ships. Here we have the Protector. So Protectors attract fire from enemy ships and get more benefit from their defensive modules. In addition, the different ships have different targeting AI. I haven't really dug into trying to pay a lot of attention to how a fleet will target the enemy fleet, and a lot of things factor into that. Ships will prefer to attack things in the same flotilla on the opposing side. So your targeting priorities are going to be very influenced by the way your opponent chooses to field their ships anyway. It's probably not worth thinking about too much, at least right now. Let's go ahead and build some of these debris analyzers. We have one support module on this ship. Well, I mean, we have two, but one of them needs to be the engine. So every command point of enemy ships we destroy will get 20 science. This will help with our lack of focus on research. And that aside, I guess we're not doing anything terribly crazy here. We're going to want to keep our ships close to the enemy. We don't have a lot of variance in range while the fleets are still small, so it's best to keep these guys armed with the same kinds of weapons the other guys have. Okay, so we'll want at least one or maybe even two escorts in the fleet so that we can profit off science and manipulate enemy targeting. But you can see the Corvettes have 171 offense score, and these only have 78. And how long is it going to take us to build these? 243. Okay, so it's just a little bit more than 1 turn worth of production, but we have some overflow from the thing we just completed, which will make these a little faster. The escorts are actually less. I'm going to go a pair of escorts to a pair of corvettes. Our fleets currently have room for 4 command points worth of ships, and obviously these small ships are 1 command point. That's on the panel on the left there, what the little satellite dish represents as command points. So this fleet should be able to handle pirates easily, while still getting us a generous amount of science. And that's really all we're doing this turn. So we're at 10 turns to this colony, 7 turns to this colony. Remember, it won't actually be that long because we have logistics ships arriving, hopefully delivering food. We'll see how well that actually works out. Unfortunately, while we're doing that, the systems that are sending out the logistics fleets are not able to use that food. So we do want to establish these as quickly as possible, which is making me think maybe I want to spend some influence to double ship departure in 2 turns, carrying a little more than a single turn of food. You know, I don't think I'm going to spend influence here. This is probably only going to speed things up a little bit, probably only by like a few turns. Maybe 2-ish turns. And I think I'd rather save that for being able to rush science. Again, the fact that we can spend the influence to buy technology just seems very, very useful to me. And, of course, we have to use it for negotiation, like everybody else. And we built our first actual ship, and so move forward on our quest here. Mr. Hadrilenko. Welcome to the team. The trail runs cold. Julinko rots in the cells, silent. Nobody knows anything about the ancient rebellion, or nothing they're prepared to admit, at least. The knowledge eats away at you day after day after day. You torture yourself, knowing how many countless thousands of patriots it must have taken to enact such a betrayal. Hidden shipyards, Empire funds siphoned off official accounts, redacted records, double lives. Some of the snakes must still be among the masses here on Raya, lying over and over to preserve their skins. Will you need to search every lead yourself to know the truth? Who can be trusted? You try to put the matter out of your mind, and instead think of the millions of true patriots. Now the matter of Emperor-elect has been settled. It is time to turn your attention to their futures, and your legacy. What course should the great United Empire be set on before your rule ends? Should you heed the warnings of the warmongers in your ranks, epitomized by the Sheridan name, and militarize? Or should you hark back to an earlier age of scientific invention, when your Mizari forebears sailed the Great Darkness? Or perhaps you should stay this course, let the United Empire fulfill its true potential as an industrial powerhouse. This may not be your final legacy, but you should give your empire a taste of the future nonetheless. Alright, so if we win 5 battles, we get access to a pretty good laser module. It doesn't have the raw DPS output of the bullet weapons we found, but it does have 20% critical hit chance. So, I mean, as a rough estimate, you can just say, you know, that's about 20% extra DPS, probably. I actually don't know if crits double the damage dealt. Maybe that's not... Well, anyway. It would be a good energy weapon to have. It's nice to have good projectiles and good energy weapons. We can hold at least 3 systems of level 2 or higher, which will complete very quickly. And we'll gain a system improvement that lets us get 20 extra industry per system level. That seems extremely powerful. Or we could possess planets of every climate type to unlock the Who's Yuri system improvement, a game show named after the extremely scientifically illiterate Yuri Palin. Plus 5 science per population on planets with anomalies. I don't think that this is even in the running. The rewards for going Yui or Mizari here are way too powerful. This is very, very good. I don't know what too much industry would look like, but I do know that I've never seen it. Let's focus on production. You have held this empire together for nigh on 40 years by maintaining the United Empire values of order, labor, and prudence. Emperor-elect Hadrilenko must see how an empire is built. Alright, we discovered a solar nebula with our probes. Okay, that's pretty far off. A lot of dust, but seems unlikely that we will own that anytime in the near future. Alright, we've become cordial with the Sisters of Mercy, so you can see here, it means they're producing science and dust and manpower for us. I really appreciate all this science, actually. Yeah, that's a considerable amount of our total. Alright, we have stuff going already. And we've got Mr. Hadrilenko. So, I do kind of want to develop, like I said, a real fleet commander. Also, man, these guys get extremely powerful. You know what, let's go ahead and make him a, let's go ahead and give him plus fleet health or plus shield absorption. Let's go fleet health first. Actually, I guess I have 4 skill points. Let's get them both. We will launch this ship here, this Corvette, and attach Hadrilenko to the fleet. We should actually take a look at his ship real quick. This might be worth upgrading. So yeah, he's got some pretty outdated weapon systems. Let's just unequip all of his non-engine stuff. Let's see what we want to do here. So he can't equip the science scoop, unfortunately. It is only available on protector type ships, support type ships rather. I do want to vary his equipment a little bit more though. And we could really load him down with these perfected slugs. Out of curiosity, each one of these is increasing the upgrade cost by about 21 dust. Wow, that's actually more expensive. I like the plasma beam though. It's a little bit of a... It's a very versatile weapon. It's exactly equally effective at all ranges. So it'll be good if we're sticking in close to make best use of the bullet weapons. But also it gives the fleet a little bit of an ability to fight back at greater range. If you go all the way in on just one type of weapon over your whole fleet, the AI will usually react pretty quickly to counter that with their defensive units. If you just sprinkle a little bit of other stuff throughout the fleet, I find it helps a little bit with making them slower to react. And then for his support module, we really only have two choices. We could give him a better engine, but the fleet is constrained by the slowest ship in it, so he actually won't be able to move any further because everything else in the fleet only has 4 movement points. So we either want to give him his own probe unit, which is not useless, or these nano repair bots, which will automatically repair his ship a small amount after battle and give him a little bit of extra health. I kind of like the idea of having probe modules, actually. There are places that it is not safe for a normal probe ship to go, and he could just be exploring the far reaches of the galaxy. You know, every time we go to a planet and fight there, he can just fire off probes into the distance. Not the most combat effective choice, but it has a lot of other benefits. And, actually, it would seem that we have a new curiosity available here. We could spend industry on this to explore it, but I kind of think I have other stuff I'd like to spend my industry on. May as well just use the probe. Plus, exploring with this with the probe will give him a little bit of XP. We discovered Smart T repair bots. Oh, a better version of the repair module. Repairs the ship during and after battle. Okay, that's cool. And overall, that's 30% healing between the two effects, which is twice as effective as the basic version of it. Okay, so we're going to put this fleet into defense mode, which means that any enemy ship that enters orbit will be stopped and will lose all of its movement points until next turn. So when this pirate vessel arrives, we will blow it up. And then we'll head over here. I don't know for sure that we have the manpower necessary to actually take this system, but we can at least fight pirates for a little while, and we'll develop modules that'll make it effective for us to actually go and clear the system out. I think I'm gonna bring the probe ship back and explore this way. And he may as well fire his other probe, I guess. There's no reason for him to hold on to it. So you can see kind of where we've fired probes in the past. Actually, there's not anywhere that looks super valuable. Also, apparently this guy has an unspent skill point. Definitely get that influence going. Do you probably want to keep New Colony Rule running? Obviously, we're still using it. Do I want to put something else up? So we can spend one influence per citizen to get plus 5 dust per citizen on particular units of our population. And it means that all of our population growth will be our starting type. Let's take a look at our demographics right now. You know, I wouldn't mind having more Epistis. They're fine. And sometimes they're very, very strong when you have sterile worlds. I actually don't think that Hisho are very good, and I don't really necessarily need a ton of militarists running around in my government. Let's see, what are the collection bonuses here? So once we have 20 total units of Imperial population, we'll gain this effect. Any system that has Imperial population in it produces 15% more influence. And eventually, once we hit 50, it will cost us a lot less to flip systems through influence. Flip systems into our empire. The collection bonuses for these guys, 20% reduction on improvement. Okay, so lowers the cost of all system improvements considerably. These guys seem very good, actually. So I kind of think I don't want to run that law, if only because I want Epistis to be born. And in fact, we might even want to try to acquire their luxury. Let's see, they like, I don't remember what this is called. I was kind of hoping mousing over it would show us. But if we can acquire some of this, we can boost the effectiveness, or boost the likelihood that more Epistis will be born. I guess they're mechanical beings, so maybe not born, but you know what I mean. That there will be more of them. It is an awful lot of dust, though. You could also put down the Mineral Misers Act. That costs basically all of our influence income, but it does give us extra industry, extra production, which is always good. Or we could do some of this stuff. Kind of think. Well, I don't want to zero out our influence gain. We're not making a ton of influence relative to the cost of tech, but we will be able to accelerate technologies a little bit here and there, and I do think that's worth... I mean, we just got to build more influence stuff. But I don't think 10% extra industry per strategic deposit is worth the influence cost right now, given how few strategic deposits we have. We'll have 2 more here. Oh, we don't actually have the ability to mine Hyperion. We should probably throw that on the end of the queue. Yeah, that's pretty cheap. Now that we've actually found some, it's probably a good idea to be able to get it out of the ground. Let's launch this other ship, merge it into the fleet, and then let's say hi to this guy. So this should be a fairly straightforward battle. We want to use a tactic that keeps us at short range, and there's not really a good reason to watch this, except that I want to see our ships in action, our inaugural pirate battle here. I don't expect that we're going to get a lot of fascinating information out of this, but I do like to watch the battles. I've come around on that a little bit. Okay. There's our ships, looking extremely cool. I mean, this is not a bad design. So the ships in Endless Space mostly fight like real-world navies, which is to say a lot of the guns are on the sides. So you have these periods where they're not in each other's firing arcs and everybody's just sort of flying around. And turn on the overlay here. I mean, no big surprise there. Look at how good our ships look. The orange is nice. Your player color actually fills in some of the paint details. I think the orange looks good on them. Unfortunately, we didn't have any of our science gathering ships yet. Okay, we're cordial with these guys now. So, once we hit 50 relation points, we'll be able to pay them a little bit of dust for them to give us a quest. And if we fulfill the quest, they'll be assimilated. It would be pretty great to get the Bonnie. That's a lot, or not, sorry. The Ambler. It would be pretty great to get the Ambler, because this is really going to be a lot of dust eventually. It's only okay right now, but it will soon be very powerful. Okay, the vital statistics. The galactic census is coming up, and although you have greater worries on your mind, you remember what one of your wisest advisors once said, that a great leader is often judged not by his actions, but by the statistics he leaves behind. Perhaps it is worth investing a bit of effort to leave your mark on history, as the databases will remember it. It is true that the impact of your actions is probably the most important thing, so in less than 20 ships, we can throw some parades. 2 ships of 259 offensive power would get us some Hyperium. We're short on Hyperium, but we also don't really need a lot of it. In less than 20 turns, get one of your systems up to 210 industry. 150 dust is an okay reward. Or in less than 20 turns, stockpile 300... Wow, this is trivial. Like, completely trivial. I think I would rather have the 150 dust than the 30 Hyperium. It's easy to get dust, but we actually have no use for Hyperium right now, and by the time we're needing a bunch of Hyperium, we will have our deposits established. So I think let's just let's pick Horde because we don't actually have to do anything. It'll just happen. Economic might, more than any other program, will secure your legacy. Amass a dust fortune that will never be forgotten. 366 is not really a fortune. Okay, next turn it turns out, because that improvement on Trappist 1 is very powerful. Though they appear cold and distant, these castaways have sufficient humanity to beg for your help. It is a group of remnants piloting a crippled ship, escaping from an endless site where many of their kind broke down or went mad. Though they were forced to flee before they could discover its cause, they've been limping through space without further deaths or symptoms. Whatever once cursed them has run its course, and this remnant population is eager to once again settle, live, and work. There are, of course, those in your empire who counsel against it. Unknown refugees are frowned upon by some and feared by others. Desperate remnants await your orders. What will you do? We will absolutely accept free points of population. There's a 20% chance of negative consequences. I don't know. Let's see what they are. We're not turning down population. Okay, and we've discovered Gigalattice because it's the resource that they prefer that would get their production chance up, right? Yeah, okay. Gigalattice. Well, we certainly don't have access to any of that. Okay, we can now colonize the entire system. We don't really have to, though. Maybe I'll let population develop a little bit more before I do that. Infinite supermarkets will not quite push us over the ecstatic threshold. Or no, sorry, what am I thinking? Yes, it totally will. The ecstatic threshold is 85, not 95. So yeah, that's a good way to go here. Our fleet is almost finished on Esh. And I noticed that we've become aware of another curiosity. Hit that with the probe. Oh, we discovered some antimatter. Okay, that's handy. Man, having that on our home system is really nice, actually. So if you're wondering why we became able to see that, it's because we are growing in science. Better strategics and better luxuries have a higher curiosity power required to see and explore them. So it is important that we get up the science tree at least enough to reveal the good resources. Hey look, we did it. Whole bunch of dust. How are we doing over here? 6 turns and 2 turns. Wow, this is quite a route. Alright, so we need one more turn, it turns out. I saw the number 3 here and was thinking it was 3 of our actual ships, but I forgot the hero ship is included in that count. So one more turn, and then we'll just go and we'll orbit Botha and blow up anything that comes out of it. We'll probably have to develop, my guess is, we'll have to develop siege weaponry. That'll probably be the fastest way for us to get control of it. Rather than developing ships with more manpower, we can just bombard the planet's surface from space. And then go down there once we've made it horrible and unlivable. That sounds like the smart way to do this. Okay, so let's get... Oh no. Did I get that ship launched? I did not. I was hoping to have both of the escorts available for the fight so that we would get more science. Oh well, we don't need to watch that, obviously. It's going to go pretty similarly. Hey, 20 science. Alright. Bridge these guys up, and let's get a move on. discovered the Kairos system. A lot of gas planets. Subterranean, atmospheric. Okay, they're mostly atmospheric anomalies. Okay, we discovered some more antimatter, which is cool. I'd really like to find a source of the other mid-level strategic, because that would probably be the system we should settle on next. Also, this place has poor soil, which just is terrible. What a very bad anomaly. Who would have thought the soil on that Arctic world would not be ideal for growing crops? Okay, the Sisters of Mercy have become amicable to us, and I think we probably ought to just go ahead and take the quest. So there's two ways we can assimilate them. We can get their quest and do it, or we can use whatever methods are necessary to get their relationship value with us to 100, at which point we can just spend a bunch of influence to buy them. Let's see what they want. For years, isolated settlements of the Sisters of Mercy have suffered at the hands of a predatory band operating out of the Kazinka Cleft. They are not without a sense of humor, though. Despite pillaging hardware, fuel, foodstuffs, and domesticated animals, the pirates often grace their captive victims with a theatrical show before making off with their stolen goods. Plays, musicals, even slapstick comedies have been known to be performed, and they have a reputation as excellent players. Now, however, their luck has run out, as they happen to rob kin of one of the Sisters of Mercy leadership. It's somewhat of a shame to help shut down this merry band of thieves, but their actions are creating hardships for many on the fringes of Sisters of Mercy society. Plus, of course, your interest is not entirely motivated by concern for others. There's a mercenary fleet somewhere in a nearby system. Alright, well, that can be what our fleet does next? I guess I kind of wanted this fleet to hang out and just kill pirates. Maybe we should build a second fleet. Maybe that's the best thing for us to do with our dust now. Or our industry, rather. Okay. So we need colonization tax. Desert and arid. Desert in particular is valuable to us. That's down here, right? Yeah. And that is the tech that gives us even more curiosity detection power. If we're going to do that, we go through this first, right? Because, obviously, colonization of arid worlds is valuable to us. See, we almost have enough influence to just buy a technology. Probably, it'll take a couple turns for our probes to regenerate. Probably we'll run down this way, just see what's down here, and then come back. I think that's a sensible way to go about this. Okay, and next turn we'll be able to get their quest. Alright, I'm pretty happy with how things are going so far. The interplanetary transport network, also not really great in this system. We should probably send 2 more units of population over, right? These guys produce industry and dust when happy. This system is not happy. But Trappist is, right? Yeah, why don't we just send the remnants over to Trappist? Get ourselves back underneath the overpopulation cap. Okay, departing to Trappist 1. And we could build our Academy Embassy. We'll get heroes, we'll get new heroes more often. I don't think there's a lot of value in building a honeycomb scope here, because of the fact that we're so close to the edge of the galaxy. Like, if we were in the middle of stuff and there were areas around us that were unexplored, increasing our planet's vision capacity could be valuable. Because the other thing we could do is start building more settlers. We do have more settling to do. Unfortunately, we don't really have a lot of systems on which to settle. I don't know, Scythe doesn't look too bad. The Vaulters aren't going to like us crowding their space, but we're probably going to have to, you know, deal with them, so maybe I don't care too much about what they think. It would be kind of a bummer to get into a war before I was ready. And it'll be difficult to get support over to Centaurus. very far away from our manufacturing centers. I miss those Vaulter portals already. We could just take over Duce, which honestly the Vaulters might not even know about yet. Yeah, let's build another... Let's build 2 settler ships. Actually, something we can do in 1 turn, apparently. Okay, so we'll take Duce and maybe Kyrus, maybe Centaurus. What is... Kyrus is largely gas planets, right? Yeah, we're not going to gain the ability to settle any of these things anytime soon. Well, in the next couple of turns, really, is what I mean. Okay, and here... Plus a lot of industry per turn on Trappist 1, 2. We maybe should just shift a bunch of population over. 6546 is the per citizen output here, as opposed to 8730. I do like the extra food, but the fact that we're producing no science on this world at all... Well, for right now, this world produces more industry per point than this one does, so we'll keep these guys here for 2 turns, then we'll consider redistribution. We have the remnants coming in too. They'll fill some of those slots. Okay, we're on +4 Hyperion per turn. Alright, and there is our colony on Cran. Oh, this has ended, which is a shame. We're now in good with the Ambler. Oh, we're running out of manpower. So, ships need manpower. Whenever you build a ship, it has to be crewed, so it draws crew from your galactic manpower storage. Ships that do not have full manpower are still operable, but they don't do as much damage in combat. I think that's the only penalty, is just damage output. Oh, we're not actually quite at the planet yet. I was like, why can't I attack that guy? Because we're still just barely in the star lane. Yeah, so ships that don't have full manpower don't do as much damage. And then also, the manpower that's stored in the ships is how you invade planets. So your invasion force will be considerably weaker if you don't have enough manpower to fill your ships. We currently have, I imagine, very, very poor manpower production. Separate fleets. So I'm not really sure how we're going to fix that. Every system makes... Oh, I don't know. I don't have the fleet selected. Every system makes some amount of manpower every turn from its food supply. I think the default split is 10% of your food creates manpower rather than population. Alright, now I think we'll build this. We don't have anything else of terrible import. We could build another... I guess let's build a second fleet first. Then we'll go back and get our Academy Embassy. Because I do want to be able to defend Centaurus while still fighting pirates and stuff. If we're going for this Centaurus thing, we need to have a fleet on it. Alright, and then here on Cran. 8347. So, system should experience some pretty decent growth. We're making decent science, but industry would be a real problem if we didn't, you know, have a cheat for that. Where are we at on Geodonics right now? Okay, so we'll be able to improve Dill as soon as it founds as well. Man, early Geodonics is a good find. Oh, that's right, we do have this quest to work out, too. Alright, we did it! Sci-Fi Design School is available. It costs 560 industry to build, but it's going to be very, very useful. In fact, I think that's what we're going to make here right now. Yep, 3 turns to add another 40 industry to our thing here. But we should probably take the next step of our quest before we do anything else here. The Empire grows, a picture of its end state slowly emerging. It will be glorious, there is no doubt of that. What troubles you, though, is whose glory it will be. The betrayer is still at large. Julinka is still silent, despite being encouraged to speak. Now your empire spans light years rather than light minutes. Scope for uprising seems greater than ever. You fret, pace the palace, demand updates from distant fleets night and day. People are happy, though, are they not? They live in an era of unrivaled prosperity, do they not? And those that have joined the Empire, have they not come to understand that their old ways were inefficient, backwards, and ultimately leading them to destruction? Oh, who are you kidding? Revolt is always on your mind. You obsess about a distant system turning against Raya. The idea of Hadrilenko as Emperor-elect gains more support with each passing season, but you will have no true peace until the betrayer is uncovered, caught, and neutralized. Harness the mood of the Empire, Hadrilenko counsels, and cement your power. What do you mean? I mean, impose your will by enacting more laws. You give a puzzled look. I don't know, that doesn't seem that puzzling. Hadrilenko continues. Men are strange creatures. They will rail against spoken words, but give those same words permanence in writing, and they will obey to their dying breath. Never forget the power of the rule of law, your Imperial Majesty. Hadrilenko is right. You can tighten your control of the Empire by strengthening its laws. The industrial base of the Empire has never been stronger, and the time is ripe for passing industrial laws to cement your grip. Well, we can certainly do this. We currently have 2 industrialist laws in the government. I guess let's go ahead and throw in the Mineral Misers Act. I do want to get our faction quest advanced, because obviously we get stuff. This is going to pretty much wipe out our growth, like we were talking about earlier, but for at least the 10 turns that it will take to satisfy the quest, I'm fine with that. Alright, we have our next tech going already. We'll look at the political survey. We're probably going to be industrialist-militarist for the foreseeable future, would be my guess. This religious thing that happened was a weird blip. But the fact that we're building military ships and engaging in actual warfare, we might flip the government to militarist-industrialist instead. That's fine. I'm fine with that. Okay, let's do some fighting. So, obviously this will be a very, very easy one. We'll get 40 science out of winning it, which is nice. A little bit of XP for the hero. Our ships do have experience levels. So we are actually leveling up our ships over time. You can see, the 3rd line on the panel over there. And they gain stats when they're higher level, as you would expect. So we discovered an asteroid field. I kind of want to just keep going. Let's get to the asteroid field. We'll fire off our probes in directions. We'll just look around over here or something. We will get back to Kairos. We'll search stuff. We'll explore the curiosities here, probably more with industry than with probes. But I really just want to see what the rest of the constellation looks like. Okay. And I don't think there's anything else we have to do this turn. You know what tech we really need after evaporation inhibitors? Is the ability to rush stuff with dust. We could actually make good use of that. Oh, hey! Right. That was one of the reasons we were doing this. This is something that would totally be worth spending influence on. It's a shame it's going to take forever for us to generate any influence. Can I kill that law? Not this turn. I think we may kill that law, generate more influence so that we can rush the settling of this colony, and no, it's not necessary. We're not really waiting on anything of terrible import here. Okay, so if we just hover in defense mode, ships that launch out will have to hang out in orbit for a turn before they'll be able to go anywhere, which means we will have plenty of time to blow them up before they leave. Okay. And these colonies finishing means that we're no longer draining food from our existing systems to feed them, which is good, because we're going to want to drain food to feed these other systems that we're building. Alright. Nothing unexpected. Yeah, we probably should actually generate the influence first, or the industry first. It is usually the case that you can flip the specialization type of a planet pretty quickly, but it does have an actual industry cost, and we do have basically no industry yet. We're getting there. Alright, let's have a look at this system real quick. So we could launch a ground invasion. You can see our fleet has less manpower than the planet does, or than the system does in defense, so unfortunately we would almost certainly lose. Although, there are ways we can tilt the odds in our favor. We could, for example, improve our ground troops with dust. But I kind of think, like I said, I think we're just going to stay here and blow up pirate ships as they come out for the moment. After we finish evaporation inhibitors, I will probably go and research the siege modules. We'll put a couple of those on our ships. We'll come back and blow things up that way. Actually, that's probably what we'll use the support module slot on our hero ship for. Alright, the Vultures are exploring. We could tell them to get the heck out of our systems, but I don't really see a need to do that. Let's not rattle our sabers before we're ready to use them. Let's get some basic stuff established. We could use some influence to rush things in this system. Temperate and fertile. Actually, this is not a bad use of influence here. This would give us 30 extra industry on this system. It would dramatically accelerate the rate of building stuff. We have other things we would like to be working on. Yeah, okay. I think that's a reasonable use for our influence. Getting weak systems up and running is always valuable. Oh, what is this now? Oh wait, pink is Sofunds, isn't it? Yeah, this is not a new thing. This is a faction we already knew about. Well, do I want to explore their anomaly or their curiosity? It could just be loot. Yeah, let's go ahead. Go ahead and check it out. Yep, we just found 20 Hyperion before they could. So we probably don't really gain anything from exploring any further. It's just going to be Sofon territory past here. It's a little bit of a shame. Taking this and using it as a bottleneck to prevent them from approaching might have been good. Well, probably time to just head back, like I said. We have other stuff to search. Also, I see what is probably a minor faction over here. We should send a probe that way when we get back to the asteroid field. Alright, we've unlocked 2 wonder buildings. We should probably try to snipe one of these now. This system is pretty well established. It doesn't have anything to build that's like usually holding back our industry. So this is a sort of a local maximum in terms of getting stuff done. Plus 25 approval for 20 turns doesn't actually help us here. It doesn't accomplish anything at all. But the fact that our empire will produce more dust and science as long as we're keeping our people happy seems well worth 9 turns of production. Let's see, we're going to produce a population point in 6. So yeah, we don't need to rush out and settle anymore. After we finish the Endless Research Park, we will need to grab probably Trappist 1-3. And Dill needs to make stuff. Okay, here we settled a planet that's just hot and neither fertile nor sterile. So these are a lot less exciting here. Wow. I'll make the decision on what to build next when we actually need to do it. Oh, I didn't actually ever go and grab this quest. What's up, guys? We picked up the signal 3 days ago, says the Ambler representative, looking apprehensive. May I? You wave a hand. Yes. The audio is distorted, and an unholy wailing din can be heard in the background, but the speaker's whispered words are clear. Something escaped from the labs, and none of the others have come back. The words suddenly become louder. Somebody has to help us, for all our sakes. The audio stops. How old is the signal, you ask? We have no idea, the Ambler says. The signal is of Ambler origin, but where it hails from is uncertain. Whatever escaped from the lab should be no match for your experienced explorers, though. We just need to find it. So we just explore curiosities. It's from somewhere. We'll just explore all the curiosities that are in somewhere. Okay. Well, we do have that probe. Actually, we could go ahead and drop a probe down here. What have we discovered? It was not the lab. It was 20 titanium. Alright. For right now, we're just kind of stockpiling strategic resources. They will become important later, especially once we start making ships and ship components out of them. But if it came right down to it, we could sell them right now. I guess just shoot your other probe out somewhere. Let's see if we can figure out what's at the end of this lane. We've almost got our second fleet finished. Oh, somebody else built the thing right as we were starting to. Well, the amount of industry we spent in a single turn apparently translates to 400 gold. Or 400 dust, rather. This is also good. However, this is going to take a lot longer to build. So minus 10% cost on technologies is a big deal. That's sort of equivalent to a 10%-ish boost in your total Empire science output, in addition to, obviously, this thing producing extra science out of this system. But given that this takes so much longer to build, we might want to grab more population space first. Plus a lot of science on planets with anomalies. Well, we do have an anomaly here. I think magnetic field generators can probably wait. Let's see if we can grab this wonder at least. Alright, does it matter? We don't really want to be... Oh, you know what? We want to be industrialist at least until we reach the end of the current faction quest. Because otherwise we're going to lose that free industrial slot. Okay, yeah, looks like a total blowout, actually. Also, we are still industrialist religious. Polling dramatically overvalued the militarist party. So, I wonder... Hold on a second. We're going to check our population. I'm curious about something. This is an interesting bill. Extra XP for all of our ships and heroes. So I wonder if the polling maybe doesn't take something into account. So we have every population type has political traits. You can see here, industrial political opinion is greater. Ecologist political opinion is lessened. And science political events also support the Industrialist Party. So when we have things happen that should produce science support in our imperial population, it also produces an equal amount of industrialist support. I wonder if these effects are not taken into account by the polling, which is why we saw the industrialists win by such a huge margin, because it wasn't taking into account the industrial boost. Could be the case.
I trust you no more than I would trust a clan merchant selling Kasai.
Okay, she's worried about our ships being in her territory. Oh, because she... Actually, none of our ships are in her territory right now. I don't know what she's talking about. But she did just take over Centaurus. Yeah. Vaulters do not have to make outposts. They have a ship that just produces full-size colonies. So, I forgot about the fact that they can so easily snipe stuff from us. I think we probably don't want to put down on Scythe, given that it would be in danger of falling to Vaulter influence almost immediately. So, we can just turn the ship this way in the hopes that whatever we find beyond Bonnie will be something we can settle. Or we could try to bounce it back to Kyrus in the hopes of picking up more antimatter. let's go this way. We know that there's a system over here, bird in the hand and all. Opening your empire's doors to new population types has its challenges, but also its rewards. Each new group adds to the strength and flexibility of a society, contributing to the maturity of your empire as a whole. Yeah, we are definitely benefiting from every new population type we add. If we complete one of the minor faction quests, that'll solve that quest for us and just give us some free influence that we can spend on, I don't know, whatever. Alright, so we have our new fleet. Actually, you know what? Let's send the new fleet to Botha. We'll have these guys start moving to Bonnie. And then while they're out exploring, they can use that probe module to search curiosities and hopefully get us some progress toward this faction quest here. Alright, we can now inhabit all of the planets in the Duce systems. The question is, which one will serve us the best? Unfortunately, we don't get exact reads on the resource output of the planets before we settle, but, I mean, I see 2 bars of food here, and 3 bars of industry, and food and industry are definitely the most important resources while you're establishing. Also, this is where the Gedonics is. Although we probably don't actually need more. Also, I don't know what those things are, but we should probably get rid of all of them immediately. I probably don't want to spend on this for the same reason I didn't do it last time. 12 turns, of course, minus any colony ships that arrive. 12 turns, it's not so bad. That'll be fine. So, if we pull out here, you can see that the Calum Science Constellation Control bonus, unfortunately, got claimed by the Sofunds first. So we need to control more systems than they do. We control 4 of the 8 systems needed to own this constellation. Wow. They expanded quickly, I guess. You know, it's the highest difficulty of a 4X game. The AI is, of course, receiving free units and stuff. They have a little bit of an advantage on us, especially at the beginning. Alright, we just gained the ability to do a lot more exploration. We can see a lot of new curiosity levels. Hopefully this will lead to us finding that the origin point of that signal fairly quickly. Actually, I kind of wonder if we should make another scout ship. Now we only have 2 support slots here. That's a shame. I'd really like to be able to mount a second engine. Oh, well, you know what? We can mount Hyperium engines now, though. It's an extra movement point. A little bit of ship evasion in combat. It's not real important, but... yeah, that's faster. Okay, let's queue up a patrol ship. Galaxy's a big place. Oh, yes, also we should do research. Fair point. So, if we want to get the... this tech is where we have the Titanium A2S Slugs module, which just does some damage to any system you're orbiting around, any system that you're sieging. I think this is a very, very important module for actually taking over systems. You don't have to risk nearly as much of your manpower fighting if you burn down the whole civilization on the planet before you send them down there. So why don't we grab... we need to grab something from this tier to unlock that tier, and then that. Ubiquitous Surveillance is an okay tech. This will allow us to stack extra manpower onto our ships, which is, you know, that's pretty whatever. But it does also let you produce ships at, I believe 40 XP is exactly enough to get them to level 2. Or we could pick up N-Wave Fusion and thus gain the ability to forcibly convert points of manpower, or points of population into manpower. I don't think that's a great way to do things. Our points of population are awfully valuable. Let's go this way first. Alright, we can play like another turn or two here before we call it for the day. Oh hey, we discovered a whole remnants system. So if we assimilate them, we will get a wonder cost reduction. That's not great, but having more remnant population in our empire is not something I would feel bad about. Let's go ahead and dump a bunch of praise on them. Alright, the Ambler have become friendly, so they are providing more of their resources.
Whatever you're planning, you don't want to hurt us harmless Sophons, do you?
Oh, they're at war. Are they at war with the Vaulters, or at war with people we don't know yet? Diplomatic relations of the Sophon Empire. Okay, we don't know. They're at war, but we don't know who with. Probably somebody on the other side of them would be my guess. So I think the way this is going to work out, sort of, is that our two little galaxies are going to kind of be like two individual Thunderdomes, and then the winner of each basically will face off across the bridge. Obviously, over here, that has to be us. It's fairly important to me. Alright, a 20% chance of negative consequences. That ended and nothing happened, so I'm assuming we didn't roll the 20%. Okay, I think, given how little value Xeno-Industrial Infrastructure has here, I think we'll just go straight to Sci-Fi Design School. And Trappist 1, I'm assuming that a lot of this money... Oh, not really. I was gonna say, I'm assuming a lot of this money is coming from Trappist 1 because of the population and the system improvements here. But no, not really. We discovered some ruins. Got some new curiosities. We should probably queue up some of these. Where do I want this guy to go? I guess we've got this side covered. There's a ton of anomalies showing, or curiosities rather, showing over here. Actually, yeah, let's go to Duce. We'll get these explored. I want Duce to be, once it turns into a proper colony, it's going to be spending all of its industry doing other things. We got, probably grab these first, actually. And would exploring this add a turn to the technology center? No. Okay, so go ahead and bang that out real quick. Okay, Coach Hob, it's habitable. Doesn't have any obvious resources. But we have a number of curiosities. Yeah, wow. Subterranean curiosities are very, very often strategic resources. Also, what we discovered here was 5% XP on ships, except we didn't explore the thing, we explored it with... explored it with the system, so that was actually a 0 reward. We got nothing. That's a shame. Alright, show me something cool. We've discovered ionic crystals. This is that luxury resource that I couldn't remember the name of earlier. Also, a pretty good system development upgrade. And a quest. One of your exploratory drones, used by your team for rapid planetary assessment, has disappeared. According to your lead technician, this type of drone has a particularly low malfunction rate. He thinks it was intentionally sent off course by someone. Or something. The drone has a cargo bay for collecting samples. Perhaps if you find it, you might be able to discover what happened to it. So, we will search these, we'll spend some of our titanium, and we'll get a free pirate ship. Yeah, we can just hang out and do that. Alright, you're almost to Kairos. Yeah, I think I just want to sit here for now. This is still running. How many turns do we have left on that? Let's have this be the pin. Oh, yes, research. Good call. I guess we have enough tech carryover. That's going to come down in one turn. So, we probably want to unlock our next level of system development, but we also want to pursue more influence tech. I think that's really where I want to focus right now. Let's get the next big influence producer. So, the National Museum is very, very useful. Also, the ability to change government types, that might be meaningful for us as well. Oh man, building the culture center unique improvement near another empire's borders though, as UE, often like we could put it on Duce maybe, and it would just consume all of this stuff, or even Bonnie. Yeah, putting it on Bonnie would be good. It just the influence growth of that planet will be incredible. We're not ready to build that yet. Let's pick up xenoanthropology, get our national museum, which will be useful in all of our systems, and then we'll come back and get the other stuff afterward. How many turns are we from Leash? Well, I mean, this fleet's probably not really going anywhere, but it's still a bummer that that's taken so long. Hadrilenko apparently is gaining a lot of experience, though, out here in deep space. So what do we want to pick up next for him? He is not assigned to a system. I believe he is a political leader. Right, he's the leader of the militarist party, I think. They're not actually visible to us right now. There's probably an easy way to check this, but I don't know what it is. But he's the only militarist hero we have, and usually the first one that you get is assigned to lead their party. So this would have some effect. A lower hostile treaty cost. Yeah, you know what? Plus experience per turn on his fleet, that's not of zero value. Higher level ships are better. Okay, we've discovered that this planet is mineral rich. Ooh, wow, that is a good anomaly. And also some influence. And that apparently was where the signal was from. Entering the lab complex, your expedition leader reports some grisly findings. Fluid trails, desiccated bodies, wholesale slaughter. The advanced state of decomposition of the victims suggests this happened a while ago. Only the sealed environment preventing complete deterioration. Whatever or whoever did this is long gone. You instruct your team to recover the dead to return to the Ambler. So 30 titanium for us, and also a new system, and also a whole bunch of dust. And also the fleet that they were using, the crummy little fleet that they were using to defend their system. Well, it'll keep Novarus safe for the moment at least. Let's get level 2 modernization, and you know what, I kind of want to get a probe ship going here, like, quickly. Because I'm thinking there's a lot of exploration to be done in this direction. I want to know what's up with the middle of the galaxy still, as quickly as we can. So we've discovered low gravity, which is a great anomaly, and also some dust. That was some good probing. Alright, what else needs doing here? You guys are just chilling. Actually, we should probably send them back to Trappist now that they finally reached where they were going, because this is the time where we want to update our ship designs. Actually, let's create a new ship design. Well, So if we create a new ship design to be our siege ship, we won't be able to merge it. We won't be able to update the ships that are already in that fleet to that design. But I guess if we just make a new type of siege ship, then we don't have to send our fleet back home. It can just keep orbiting the pirate system. These guys are siege ships. That's creative. Well done, me. I need... Yeah, this one. Man, I wish we had more slots on these. Unfortunately, if I want to use 2 of these, I don't get to have an engine. Should probably have an engine. And then just defensive modules, you know, whatever. Okay. Well, we have some good engines, at least. So how much is it to make one of those? Like, is it reasonable for me to buy one? Oh, still don't have the dust tech. Well, the thing we're working on now is important. How long would it take for us to get the ability to do rushes with dust? Yeah, that's probably worth picking up. I titled it plural. Man, that's probably fixable. I don't know. It's not something I'm terribly worried about. Alright, we'll just make a siege fleet, I guess. That'll be a thing that we'll find use for, even beyond dealing with the pirates. I just have a feeling. What else? I guess you don't actually have any movement left. And you, I'm waiting on probes to be developed. Let's see here. Cran needs what? Well, public-private partnerships is pretty strong here. We're already ecstatic, so we don't actually need infinite supermarkets yet. Oh, actually, yeah, this is great in this system. And then, honestly, probably it's a good idea to just pick up another... We'll pick up another system so we start... Or another planet, so we start getting those luxury incomes. It actually should be possible for us to be pretty rich here, I think. Oh, we had a remnant was born? That's not a new population type. Huh. Alright, well, I mean, I'll take it. It's free influence. We discovered a neutron star way out here. Also, Sophon worlds, as you might expect. This constellation's quite large, I think. Alright, so that's still, the probe ship is still building. Okay. What I really want to do is resolve this this thing with the Sisters of Mercy. That's where I want to end the episode. Okay. Pirate ship showed up at Botha, then we blew it up. A little bit of extra science for us, hooray. Yep, nothing unexpected.
The Vodiani and our church
We have discovered a Vodiani ship. We saw it down here briefly. Well, that's maybe a good thing. The Vodiani are usually pretty aggressive. It might be the case that we want to keep the Vaulters as friends for the moment and fight somebody else. That might be what we do with the Vodiani. Powerful industrial laws shape and control the Empire. If the Betrayer, or anyone else, has designs on fomenting a second uprising, they will find it difficult. You enjoy the moment of respite. For now. And we have received 60 Transvine. Transvine is an awfully good luxury. As you can see, when used in a system development, it gives a bunch of approval. However, I'm reticent to use a thing that we can't actually gather ourselves, so we probably will not use it for that purpose. Time has come. Your grip on the Empire has never been tighter, your laws never stronger. The restless nights that plagued your last few years now seem like a bad dream. Every night you lay your head down on your imperial pillow, you quickly drift into a deep sleep, waking well-rested and content. What musings thread your dreaming mind are not concerned with paranoia or rebellion or the fate of a young woman slowly growing old in the depths of the imperial prison. The question of who masterminded the rebellion all those years ago no longer vexes you like it did. You'd be lying if you said it no longer troubled you in the slightest, but, like your aging body, it is something you will grow to accept. What occupies your thoughts more is what the historians will make of your legacy. Before you hand the reins of power over to Emperor-elect Hadrilenko, you must decide the fate of the Empire. Decisively. Well, decisively is a good way to decide things. Will you steer the Empire into the hands of the Sheridan Hawks? Or will you give power to the Madari traditionalists who exalt science? Or perhaps you believe in staying the course, seeing through the project to conquer the galaxy as the United Empire. Whatever you choose, there will be no turning back. The fate of the Empire rests in your hands. Actually, this is probably a good place to stop. So, we have a branch here. We have a pretty important branch, actually. So the three things we can choose here. We could raise the number of command points for our fleets up to 15. Obviously, big powerful fleets, much better conquering power. We'll get the Patriotic Shipyards reward, which will just lower the ship costs, lower the industry cost of all of our ships. And we will become the Sheridan. I think that this transforms all of our population into Sheridan, and the Sheridan population bonuses are what I would describe as not good. We could set up trade routes by building trading companies. We'll get a reduction in diplomacy cost reduction, and we will maintain our culture as the United Empire, so our population will still be Imperials, which have a bonus that I do like. Or we could dramatically increase our science production to become the Mizari. We'll get the martial science bonus, just 15% more science for the whole empire. And our population type will change to plus an awful lot of science. Let me know what you guys think. My personal feeling is that these are both interesting traits, or these are both interesting routes. Staying UE and trying to just consume enough systems to win the victory type for owning enough systems is interesting. That might be a fun way to go, and it's a little different from what we just did with the Vaulters. Whereas, obviously, pursuing the Mizari path will mean another science victory. But let me know what you think. Speak up in the comments below. That's going to be it for us for today. We're going to resolve the rest of this turn when we come back next time. And we'll see you then.